and hearts to recite constantly. So we will be reading from the second volume of Krishna book. Yesterday we began the chapter 11, which shows the deliverance of Pandruka and the king of Kashi, that he was representing himself as a god. And Prabhupada also made, and even during the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there were so many of the rascals that they were presenting themselves as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we will dwell on it. I will read a couple of lines we read yesterday to bring up to the speed, and then we will continue. While Lord Balram was absent in Vrindavan, this king Pandruka, the king of the Karusha province, being foolish and puffed up, sent a messenger to Lord Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and King Pandruka directly challenged Krishna through the messenger, who stated that Pandruka and not Krishna was Vasudeva. In the present day, Prabhupada is saying that there are many foolish followers of such rascals. Similarly, in his day, many foolish men accepted Pandruka as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know, this is amazing that very few people notice or realize that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he spent so much time. Because he could not estimate his own position, Pandruka falsely thought himself to be Lord Vasudeva. Thus the messenger declared to Krishna that out of his causeless mercy, King Pandruka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had descended on the earth just to deliver all distressed persons. Yes, I say that, you know, this is, Tamal Krishna Maharaj has made this wonderful video in Fiji, God, Demigods and Incarnation. You know, I highly recommend to see. That will eliminate so many confusion. Surrounded by many other foolish persons, this rascal Pandruka had actually concluded that he was Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This kind of conclusion is certainly childish. When children are playing, they sometimes create a king among themselves. And the child who is so selected thinks that he is the king. Similarly, many foolish persons, due to ignorance, select another fool as God. And then the rascal considers himself God, as if God could be created by childish play or by the words of men. Under this false impression, thinking himself the Supreme Lord, Pandruka sent his messenger to Dwarka to challenge the position of Lord Sri Krishna. This is the things happen when we become proud. The messenger reached the royal assembly of Krishna in Dwarka and conveyed the message given by his master Pandruka. And the message contained following statements. Haribol. Now hear the foolish person's word. He said, I'm the only Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. There is no man who can compete with me. I have descended as King Pandruka, taking compassion on the distressed, conditioned soul out of my unlimited, causeless mercy. You have falsely taken the position of Vasudeva without authority. But you should not propagate this false idea, he is telling Krishna. Haribol. You must give up your position, O descendant of the Yadu dynasty. Please give up all the symbols of Vasudeva, which you have falsely assumed. And after giving up this position, come and surrender unto me. If out of your gross impudence you do not care for my words, then I challenge you to fight. I'm inviting you to a battle in which the decision will be settled. There you go. So when all the members of the royal assembly, including King Ugrasena, heard this message sent by Pundraka, they laughed very loudly for a considerable time. Haribol. We should laugh every day, if you want to remain happy and healthy. Laugh is very important in our life. After enjoying the loud laughter of all the members of the assembly, Krishna replied to the messenger as follows. Quote, O messenger Pandruka, you may carry my message to your master. He is a foolish rascal. I directly call him a rascal and I refuse to follow his instructions. I shall never give up the symbol of Vasudeva, especially my disc. I shall use this disc to kill not only King Pundraka, but all his followers also. Krishna doesn't like to follow those kind of people. I shall destroy this Pundraka and his foolish associates who merrily constitute a society of cheaters and cheated. When this action is taken, foolish king, you will have to conceal your face in disgrace. And when your head is severed from your body by my disc, it will be surrounded by meat-eating birds like vultures, hawks, and eagles. Haribol. At that time, instead of becoming my shelter as you have demanded, you will be subjected to the mercy of these low-born birds. At that time, your body will be thrown to the dogs, who will eat it with great pleasure. What a wonderful response. So the messenger carried the words of Lord Krishna to his master Pundraka, who patiently heard all these insults. Without waiting longer, Lord Sri Krishna immediately started out on the chariot to punish the rascal Pundraka. Because at that time the king of Karusha was living with his friend, the king of Kashi, Krishna surrounded the whole city of Kashi. So King Pundraka was a great warrior, and as soon as he heard of Krishna's attack, he came out of the city along with 2 Akshuhini divisions of soldiers. They are so proud of their strength. The king of Kashi was also a friend to King Pundraka, and he also came out with 3 Akshuhini divisions. And when the 2 kings came before Lord Sri Krishna to oppose him, Krishna saw Pundraka face to face for the first time. Krishna saw that Pundraka had decorated himself with the symbol of the council, disc, lotus, and club. He carried the Srunga bow, and on his chest was the insignia of Srivastava. His neck was decorated with a false Kaustubha jewel, and he wore a flower garland in exact imitations of Lord Vasudeva. They are so expert. He was dressed in a yellow-colored silken garments, and the flag on his chariot carried the symbol of Garuda, exactly imitating Krishna's. He had a very valuable helmet on his head, and his earring, like swordfish, glittered brilliantly. On the whole, however, his dress and makeup were clearly imitation. Anyone could understand that he was just like someone on stage playing the part of Vasudeva in false dress. When Lord Sri Krishna saw Pondraka imitating his posture and dress, he could not check his laughter, and thus he laughed with great satisfaction. So the soldiers on the side of the king Pondraka began to shower their weapon upon Krishna. The weapons, including various kinds of tridents, clubs, poles, lances, swords, daggers, and arrows, came flying in waves, and Krishna counterattacked them. He smashed not only the weapon, but also the soldiers and assistants of Pondraka. Just as during the dissolutions of this universe, the fire of devastation burns everything to ashes. The elephant, chariot, horses, and infantry belonging to the opposite party were scattered by the weapon of Krishna. The whole battlefield became scattered with the bodies of animal and chariots. There were fallen horses, elephants, men, asses, and camel. Although the devastated battlefield appeared like the dancing place of Lord Shiva at the time of dissolutions of the world, the warriors who were on the side of Krishna were very much encouraged by seeing this, and they fought with great strength. So at this time, Lord Krishna told Pondraka, quote, Pondraka, you requested me to give up the symbol of Lord Vishnu, especially my disc. Now, I will give it up to you. Be careful. You falsely declare yourself to be Vasudeva, imitating myself. Therefore, no one is greater fool than you. Haribol, unquote. From this statement of Krishna, it is clear that any rascal who advertises himself as God is the greatest fool in human society. Krishna continued, quote, now, Pondraka, I shall force you to give up these false representations. You wanted me to surrender unto you? Now this is your opportunity. We shall now fight. And if I'm defeated and you become victorious, I shall certainly surrender unto you. Unquote. In this way, after chastising Pondraka very severely, he smashed his chariot to pieces by shooting just one arrow. With the help of his disc, he separated the head of Pondraka from his body, just as Indra saves off the peaks of mountain by striking them with his thunderbolt. Similarly, he also killed the king of Kasi with his arrows. Lord Krishna specifically arranged to throw the head of the king of Kasi into the city of Kasi itself, so that his relatives and family members could see it. This was done by Krishna just as a hurricane carries a lotus petals here and there. Lord Krishna killed Pondraka and his friend Kasiraj on the battlefield. And then he returned to his capital city, Dwarka. So when Lord Sri Krishna returned to the city of Dwarka, all these Sitas from the heavenly planets were singing the glories of the Lord. And what they do, they shower the flowers. As far as the Pondraka was concerned, somehow or other, he was always thinking of Lord Vasudeva by falsely dressing himself in that way. And therefore, Pondraka achieved Sharupya, one of the 5 kinds of liberation, and was thus promoted to the Vaikuntha planets, where the devotee have the same bodily feature as Vishnu, with 4 hands holding the 4 symbols. Factually, his meditation was concentrated on the Vishnu form. But because he thought himself to be Lord Vishnu, it was offensive. After being killed by Krishna, however, that offense was also mitigated. Thus, he was given Sarupya liberation, and he attained the same form as the Lord. So, anything we do, meditation, Krishna never go in vain. It helped. When the head of the king of Kasi was thrown through the city gate, people gathered and they were astonished to see their wonderful king, this wonderful thing, Haribol, not king. When they found out that there were earring on it, they could understand that it was someone's head. They conjectured as to whose head it might be. Some thought it was Krishna's head because Krishna was the enemy of Kashiraj. And they calculated that the king of Kasi might have thrown Krishna's head into the city so that the people might take pleasure that the enemy was killed. But it was finally detected that the head was not Krishna's, but that was of Kasiraj himself. When it was so ascertained, the queens of the king of Kasi immediately approached and began to lament the death of their husband. What they prayed? My dear Lord, they cried, upon your death, we have become just like dead bodies, unquote. So the king of Kasi had one son whose name was Sudakshina. After observing the ritualistic funeral ceremonies, he took a vow that since Krishna was the enemy of his father, he would kill Krishna and in this way liquidate his debt to his father. That's what it happened, right? Hiranyakashipu, same thing. Hiranyaksha was killed and he made determination, I'll kill Krishna. This is the demoniac mentality. Therefore, accompanied by a learned priest qualified to help him, he began to worship Mahadev, Lord Shiva. And this is another trick. The Lord of the Kingdom of Kasi is Vishwanath, Lord Shiva. The temple of Lord Vishwanath is still existing in Varanasi, and many thousands of pilgrims still gather daily in the temple. By the worship of Sudakshina, Lord Shiva was very much pleased. Asutosh, he becomes so easily pleased. And he wanted to give a benediction to his devotee. So Sudakshina's purpose was to kill Krishna. And therefore he prayed for a specific power by which he could kill Krishna. Lord Shiva advised to Sudakshina, assisted by a Brahmana, execute the ritualistic ceremony for killing one's enemy. This ceremony is also mentioned in some of the tantras. Lord Shiva informs Sudakshina that if such a black ritualistic ceremony were performed properly, then the evil spirit named Dakshingni would appear to carry out any order given to him. Dakshinagni, Haribol. So he would have to be employed. However, to kill someone other than a qualified Brahmana, in such a case, he would have to be accompanied by Lord Shiva's ghostly companions, and the desire of Sudakshina to kill his enemy would be fulfilled. So they got all kind of assurance. So when Sudakshina was encouraged by Lord Shiva in that way, he became assured that he would be able to kill Krishna. With a determined vow of austerity, he began to execute the black art of chanting mantras, assisted by the priest. After this, out of the fire came a great demoniac form, whose hair, beard, and mustache were exactly the color of hot copper. This form was very big and fierce. As the demon arose from the fire, cinders of fire emanated from the sockets of his eyes. The giant, fiery demon appeared still more fierce due to the movement of his eyebrows. He exhibited long, sharp teeth and sticking out his long tongue, licked both sides of his lips. He was naked and he carried a big trident, which was blazing fire. After appearing from the fire of sacrifice, he stood wielding the trident in his hand. Instigated by Sudakshina, the demon proceeded toward the capital city Dwarka, along with many hundreds of ghostly companions. And it appeared that he was going to burn all outer space to ashes. The surface of the earth trembled because of his striking steps. When he entered the city of Dwarka, all the residents panicked, just like animals at the time of a forest fire. We are burning in the forest fire of this material existence, but we are not feeling any fear. We feel so comfortable in this material world, that we don't want to even live. We never want to think about the death, which is imminent to come. You know, who sent me the text message today? Let me see. I think someone, Masi or Masaji, died today. So let's pray for those person. Who was that? At least I don't know, some devotee said that his Masaji has left the world. Let's pray for 20 seconds for the departed soul. Yeah, I couldn't find it, and I don't want to waste everybody's time. At least we did our part to pray for the departed soul. So at that time, when the Dwarkavasis was panicked, Krishna was engaged in playing chess in the Royal Assembly Council Hall. All the residents of Dwarka approached and addressed him. Just see the scene. Whole Dwarka Vasi came to the palace, and they wants to approach and address him as follows. Dear Lord of the three worlds, there is a great fiery demon ready to burn the whole city of Dwarka. Please save us. At least they don't look for any other solution. They have complete faith. Krishna can change the situations. So thus, after approaching Lord Krishna, all the inhabitants of Dwarka began to appeal to him for protection from the fiery demon who had just appeared in Dwarka to devastate the whole city. Good thing that they at least asking the shelter of Krishna, nothing else. But if some difficulty comes in our life, Krishna would be the last one. We will try to solve those problems ourselves. Only time that we may approach Krishna when all our efforts nullified. This is how ignorant we are. So Lord Krishna, who specifically protects his devotees, we hear many times. I don't know how long it will take to sit in our heart that thought. Become fearless. Nothing can happen to us. And if something is going to happen, nobody will be able to stop it. Krishna is so kind. Whatever he does for good. You know, this is something we need to get convinced. So Lord Krishna specifically protect his devotees, saw that the whole population of Dwarka was most perturbed by the presence of the great fiery demon. He immediately began to smile. And what did he do? He assured them. How? He says, quote, don't worry. I shall give you all protection. That's it. Unquote. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is all pervading. He is within everyone's heart, and he is without also in the form of the cosmic manifestation. He knows everything. He could understand that the fiery demon was a creation of Lord Shiva. And in order to vanquish him, he took his Sudarshan Chakra and ordered him to take the necessary steps. The Sudarshan Chakra appeared with the effulgence of millions of suns, his temperature being as powerful as that of the fire created at the end of the cosmic manifestation. By his own effulgence, the Sudarshan Chakra began to illuminate the entire universe on the surface of the earth as well as in the outer space. Yeah, I know the person who sent me the text message. She used to work with me. And she sent me yesterday the message, like the face with dripping the tears from her eyes. And the ball was getting filled up with the tears. So then I asked her, why are you crying? And then she responded, last night, but you know, I take a rest, I never check the message. So this morning, then she wrote that my Masaji left the world. And I said, it's inevitable. Every one of us is gonna die. It's a matter of time. I hope that solaces her. Then the Sudarshan Chakra began to freeze the fiery demon created by Lord Shiva. In this way, the fiery demon was checked by the Sudarshan Chakra of Lord Sri Krishna and being defeated in his attempt to devastate the city of Dwarka. He turned back. Having failed to set fire to Dwarka, you know, there is another story also we read that Agni Jwara, that one demon, and Krishna has that cold weapon that can cool down, similar thing. Having failed to set fire to Dwarka, he went back to Varanasi, the kingdom of Kashiraj. As a result of his return, all the priests who had helped instruct the black art of mantra, along with their employer, Sudaksina, were burned into ashes by the glaring effulgence of the fiery demon. According to the methods of black art mantras instructed in the Tantra, if the mantra fails to kill the enemy, then because it must kill someone, it killed the original creator. So Sudaksina was the originator, and the priests assisted him. Therefore, all of them were burned to ashes. This is the way of the demons. The demons create something to kill God, but by the same weapon, the demon themselves are get killed. What a smart way. Only Krishna can do those things. Following just behind the fiery demon, the Sudarshan Chakra also entered Varanasi. This city of Varanasi had been very opulent and great for a very long time. Even now, the city of Varanasi is very opulent and famous, and it is one of the important cities of India. There were then many big palaces, assembly houses, marketplace, and gates, with very important large monuments by the palaces and gates. Lecturing platform could be found at each and every crossing of the road. Haribol. There was a treasury house and elephant heads, horse heads, chariots, granaries, and places for distribution of foodstuff. The city of Varanasi had been filled with all these material opulences for a very long time. But because the king of Kasi and his son Sudaksina were against Lord Krishna, the Vishnu Chakra Sudarshan, the disc weapon of the Lord Krishna, devastated the whole city by burning all these important places. This exertion was more ravaging than modern bombing. The Sudarshan Chakra, having thus finished his duty, came back to his Lord Sri Krishna at Dwarka. So this narration of the devastation of Varanasi by Krishna's disc weapon, the Sudarshan Chakra, is transcendental and auspicious. Anyone who narrates this story or anyone who hears this story with faith and attention will be released from all reactions to sinful activities. So now we are free. No more suffering unless we continue doing this nonsense activity in ignorance. Then the consequences we may have to face. Otherwise, everything is eradicated. The word of Krishna never fails. This is the assurance of Sukadeva Goswami, who narrated this story to Parikshit Maharaj. So we are so fortunate today we become sinless. Thus ends the second volume, 11th chapter of Krishna, deliverance of Panduraka and the king of Kasi, and also delivering all of us from all sinful reactions. What a great boon, reading Krishna book. Huh? Okay, it's a perfect time, 6:54. We should be punctual in our activities. So looking forward to all of you for tomorrow, Saturday. We normally would like to chant 64 rounds. We start at 2 o'clock, and as I say, make announcement earlier, I won't be looking that much on the screen, but I humbly request those, our IT team, that please anybody join new devotee, please send their name and ask them if they would like to share the contact number. So I'll create one diary from now on, where anyone even join for one session, I will put the name in my diary. That's my treasure, to get their association. So thank you very much. You have been so kind, all of you. And I think I have been sending the text message. And I know, you will be amazed, but I can tell you each one of you what time you join in some time frame. That much I have the meditation on all of you. But I think that I need to, now you all are chanting very nicely. I need to improve my chanting. I want to go deeper in my chanting. So I'm not gonna look on the screen. So please do not post any chat box message or anything like that. Like this strong thought came in my mind that Raghunath Das Goswami standing at the Narasimha gate at the Jagannath temple begging. And then he was thinking that each man comes, he was thinking that he may give me something like a prostitute look for the man. And he then gave up this idea. So I was also thinking why I want to keep on checking who is joining at what time, Let them do their duty, whatever the way they want to do, who I am. And since I have seen that so many devotees are chanting nicely, I feel relieved from my responsibility, and I need to improve my chanting myself. So this is something, and I think I relished today. I was in the mood, and I think it will become more and more smoother as we go. So with those thoughts, I think let's chant for another 1 hour, whoever would like to stick around. As normal, we will continue this tradition that I will chant until 7:30, and then I will continue chanting unless someone unmute and start chanting, then I will mute their phone. I wish that every day different devotees can chant. I would like to get their association.